Welcome to another episode of the Gas Conversations, where we seek to make conversations about gas and the Nigerian gas industry understandable, relatable, and available to Nigerians everywhere. My name is Esther Eze, and I can assure you that in this episode, you're in for a great time. In my last video, I mentioned that we'll be joined by the HSE Manager here at Alles Charis Gas as we break down the concept of safety as it pertains to the LPG industry. And it is my pleasure and privilege to welcome to today's episode of the Gas Conversations, the one and the only Engineer Henry. Engineer Henry, welcome to the Gas Conversations.
It's good to be here.
All right, thank you so much. So please, can you introduce yourself to our viewers?
My name is Engineer Henry Nda-Womom. I'm the HSE Manager here in Alles Charis.
Good to have you here once again, Engineer Henry. So, we're talking about safety. And why I considered this conversation to be very important today is people have a very tiny, small scope of the topic of safety. They think it's very technical. And while I do not doubt that there is a technical aspect to safety, I think safety is broad enough to accommodate everybody, not just technical people, but the day-to-day consumers, day-to-day users, the general public. So if I might ask, right, off the top of your head, what is one thing everybody should have in mind when they think about the topic of safety?
Actually, just like what you just said, safety is the key in every industry, in every position. And when safety is not well put in place, or when safety is not adhered to, the company gets some downtime, also gets some incurs some cost within itself, and also have this drop in reputation. So safety ought to be factored in every industry across context Nigeria.
Thank you very much for that, Engineer Henry. So when people think of HSE in the gas industry, right, they would typically think of fire extinguishers, more like the props, for the want of a better word, fire extinguishers, hard hats, PPEs, right? But what is the mission of HSE in the industry today?
In Nigeria, as a context, the HSE has moved from beyond the PPE, moved beyond the fire extinguishers, and the compliance checks. That's a result of the usage, as a result of the discussions across board and across the education, that people now see values why gas is being a good source of energy. So based on this, HSE has now drive the operational efficiency of an organization through by ensuring reducing loss, preventing downtime, and also ensuring that the work is being done in a safe way, so we don't record incidents when operations is being carried out. Also, it has also improved our culture in terms of people knowing what to do at every given time, the action to take, the steps to follow.
I like that. What I can hear from what you're saying is HSC has moved from being something departmental to being something organizational. So it's not just something you do to prevent danger. It is something you do to ensure that your operations in the first place, to an extent, are fail-proof and are safe for stakeholders, meaning both employees, consumers, and then the industry at large. Thank you very much, Mr. Henry. My next question is, what is the biggest misconception that people have about safety protocols until danger happens?
One of the misconceptions people do have is the mindset that because you've been doing a particular task safely, you assume that it is safe.
Yes.
So also the concept that people do, misconception people do, so that's seeing doing a particular thing often with a result because you've not been able to record anything, and you claim or you assume that it's right. And also people seeing safety to be just a departmental thing, focus for the safety department, not like generalizing it to be a team for the whole team.
I particularly like your first point because while you started to explain I just realized that, well, I think sometimes I can be that person, because when you're doing something over and over again so that a disaster does not occur, it will get to a point where you just feel like, I did it yesterday. So with what you're saying, is basically saying you must get used to the repetition, right? Because it is the repetition that builds the confidence to face it if it happens. But if we say, oh, I checked for leak yesterday, I don't have to check for leak today. What if it's now today that you did not check for leak, that there will be a problem? So I really like that response. So essentially with safety, repetition is where it's at, because with repeating, you gain mastery, right, Engineer Henry?
Very correct.
Thank you very much. Okay, so now we're moving to the station's level of safety, right? Because Alles Charis Gas, like with most other gas companies, they're retail outlets where they engage with customers, they sell products and all of that. So my question to you is, at the station level, right, we have things like static electricity, improper cylinder inspection, and minor leaks as constant variables. So what is the one non-negotiable daily habit that every station operator must have?
One non-negotiable.
Yes. I know that will be hard for you.
Station always needs to have this.
Yes.
Never assume, always inspect.
Can you say that again?
Never assume, always inspect. Why? Because you could do a particular thing today, just like I said earlier.
Yes.
And you believe that the system ought to work the next day. So always ensure that you conduct checks on items like cylinders, your fire extinguishers,
yes,
your tanks, and also your lines, because the possibility that this thing could wear and tear as a result of usage is possible. And also you do not also forget to apply the safety measures by stopping when ought to stop.
Yes.
Or do your observation.
Yes.
Inspect and also give report.
Did you guys hear that? We asked for one. He's so generous. He gave us a lot to work with. So thank you very much, Engineer Henry. We are moving to the next question. So we have a depot, right? And one of the things I think I know, which of course you can expound, is that managing a depot and managing a retail outlet is not the same thing. Yes. So my question to you is, offloading bulk LPG into depot tanks is a high stakes activity. Walk us through the psychological states that the team needs to be in during product transfer.
When carrying out offloading processing in depot, one major thing that teams and everyone needs to put in place is firstly to be calm. Because when you're calm, you do things right. And also you need to show professional discipline. And be attentive to every bit, every processes that you want to engage in. And also we also encourage that things, the operation should not be done in an absentia, whereby you assume that this person knows what to do. So you leave that.
So like for managers, they have to be present.
And also to when issues like when unforeseen issues, you observe unforeseen issues, you quickly stop and give the power manager that information, so that's kind of a quick, swiftly communication that this is an unforeseen scene that you've seen that ought to be addressed. So I think that's the.
I like that you mentioned that the first thing is to be calm, right? Because in a sense, your state of mind would eventually influence your actions and how you sort of carry out whatever it is you're carrying out. I have a very interesting question to ask you. In the NMDPRA guidelines, they stipulate that when a truck arrives at a potential discharge location, carrying products, of course, it is expected to rest for a period of 2 hours before discharge operations begin. Can you walk us through the logic behind the 2 hours resting period?
The logic behind that approach is to ensure that the risk is reduced.
Okay.
Because when a product is being transported from one location to the other, it generates gases.
Yes. Yes.
So it also helps to ensure that the actual products being procured is what is being received at the end.
Yes. After being discharged.
So I want to practically use a bottle of Coke. When you shake the bottle of Coke and immediately you open it and pour that Coke on the object, you don't get the actual volume or quantity of that bottle of Coke. Why? Yes. Because at that time, the vapor and the gas are they're like together. Okay. So you allow this liquid to settle before discharging it.
Thank you very much, sir. On the static electrical energy that is built up in the course of movement, I think just to sort of sit on that for a while, it's the issue where if there is an ignition source around that area, that is a recipe for an explosion if the truck is not allowed to rest, right? The energy it has built up in because of the electrical charge that it has built up in because of its transit. If it is not giving that sufficient time to rest, if there is some form of ignition or source around the truck, that is a recipe for explosion, right? All right. Thank you very much, sir. So that is one of the reasons, like you said, while the trucks must be allowed to rest for at least that period of time. So no matter how much you're rushing to get product out of your tank because you think, customers are waiting, it's a necessary procedure, and it is actually for not just your safety, but the safety of your consumers as well. All right, thank you very much, Engineer Henry. I'm moving to my next question. So moving over to logistics, we know the state of the road infrastructure in Nigeria, and majority of gas logistics is done by road, right? At least in Nigeria. How do we sort of train our drivers to navigate these challenges, and what do we train them to look out for?
We train them first to anticipate for road users. Also train them to ensure that they maintain a safe flowing distance from other trucks.
Okay.
And then looking at the adverse weather condition.
Okay.
We also encourage them, train them to know what to do at every given point. Yes, when it's raining, because they might not be able to drive effectively. And also train them to ensure that they look out for potholes while they drive. And that training does not just end there.
Yeah.
We go further to train them on what to do when there is an emergency. The emergency occurs as they carry the job. So we also do that.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Let's look at the human factor, right? Driver fatigue is a massive risk factor in logistics. How does HSE monitor and protect the well-being of our drivers to ensure that they don't get to the point where they're fatigued and it affects how they go about discharging their functions?
Actually, the system we have established is to always inform and also educate them to give us feedback when they are not too strong. Because most times you see them, because of the incentive they receive, the driver allowance and other benefits they get, they won't want to express themselves.
Yeah.
So we also tell them to ensure that you have a regular rest. Also observe a schedule. We also have a schedule kind of a period for them to observe. Maybe they send a product to a particular location. We have a specific days that they ought to stay before continuing their trip. So this is what we do.
All right. Thank you very much, Engineer Henry. All right. So my question is, many companies talk about safety, right? It's almost like a broken record. Or safety conscious, we're doing this, we're doing that. How are you making sure, right, that safety is a culture here at Alles Charis?
Actually, how myself and my team, how we've been able to achieve this is by making safety everyone's responsibility, not the safety department.
Yes.
And also, we've been able to achieve this through the help of the top management commitment by supporting our initiatives, by investing in safety. And also, we've been able to achieve this through regular inspections that we do carry out. Then lastly, I would say that we've been able do this by the encouragement, sensitizing workers, individuals who meet standards to boost their morale to do more.
So there is the constant training, there is, of course, management support, and then there is incentivizing people to sort of get on the safety train. I like the fact that you said safety is everybody's responsibility, not just a particular department. All right, Engineer Henry. So we're approaching the end of this episode, and I'd like to play a game with you. Are you ready?
Ready.
Are you sure you're not going to adjust? Because I bring the heat. Okay, so can you give us 5 safety equipment that an LPG station must have?
5 safety equipment every gas industry must have.
Gas station, yes.
Must have.
Yes.
Presently.
Yes.
1, you must have a workable centralized smoke system.
Okay.
You also need to have, more importantly, fire hydrant system.
Okay.
And also a workable fire extinguisher system.
Okay.
You also need to have a good sprinkler.
Okay.
You could also factor in some buckets.
Okay, feeling generous.
Then you also need to have hose reel and hose bus.
All right. Thank you very much, Engineer Harry. It looks like you wanted to add one more. All right. For the camera, you should have clear signages that tell people no smoking here, turn off your devices. Well, for the culture. All right. Thank you very much, Engineer Harry. So to close out this episode, if you could leave our viewers with one golden rule to live by for the rest of the year, what will it be?
One golden rule. There are multiple.
Yes.
If you see something, you say something. And know that is more important. Also, no customer demand should be done without following our process.
Yeah.
And lastly, no operation is critical that you must not do that work safely. Thank you.
All right. So there's usually something Engineer Henry says, and I want him to close out this episode with it. Safety first.
Safety always.
Safety first.
Safety always.
All right. Thank you so much, Engineer Henry. It was so great having you here. And it's a wrap on our conversation around safety within the LPG industry with our distinguished HSE Manager, Engineer Henry. I can't wait for you to watch this video. I can't wait for you to comment, to ask your questions, and to keep the conversation going. And remember, safety first, safety always. Till the next episode, stay gassed up.